The rain comes down like the sky is trying to wash away every sin Portland has ever committed. Marcus Reed grips the steering wheel of his 15-year-old Honda Civic, knuckles white, windshield wipers screaming across the glass in a rhythm that matches his exhausted heartbeat. It is 2:43 in the morning. He has been awake for 19 hours. The dashboard warning lights glow like angry eyes. Check the engine. Low oil pressure. Something about the transmission that he cannot afford to diagnose. Marcus does not look at them anymore. He knows what they mean. They mean keep driving anyway. His phone buzzes in the cup holder. He does not need to look to know it is another past due notice. Electric company, water bill, maybe the hospital calling about the payment plan he missed last month. He lets it buzz itself to silence. The highway stretches empty ahead, slick and black under the sparse streetlights. Marcus works third shift at Northwest Regional Medical Center. Environmental services, they call it. Janitor, everyone else calls it. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 5 nights a week, $12.75 an hour. After taxes, that is about $400 weekly. Rent for the studio apartment is $950 monthly. Food, gas, phone, clothes for his daughter. The math never works. It has not worked in 3 years. But Marcus shows up. He clocks in. He does the job. Because 8-year-old Zoe is asleep right now in that studio apartment, safe and warm. And that is all that matters. The highway curves through the industrial district, old warehouses, shipping yards, the kinds of places nobody visits after dark. Marcus blinks hard, trying to push back the fog settling into his brain. He considers pulling over, closing his eyes for just 5 minutes. But if he stops, he might not start again. If he is late, they will write him up. 3 write-ups, and he loses the job. He cannot lose the job. That is when he sees it. Headlights, wrong angle, pointed up toward the trees instead of the road. A vehicle, expensive looking even from a distance, nose down in the ditch on the right side. Steam rising from the hood. One headlight flickering like a dying star. Marcus's foot moves to the brake before his brain fully processes what he is seeing. The Civic skids slightly on the wet pavement, fishtails, then steadies. He pulls onto the shoulder, hazard lights flashing weakly. For just a moment he sits there, engine idling, rain hammering the roof. He could keep driving. Probably someone already called it in. Help is on the way. He is going to be late for his shift. Then he sees movement inside the wrecked vehicle, a shadow against the interior light. Someone trying to get out. Failing. Marcus kills the engine, pops his door open and steps into the storm. The rain soaks through his work jacket immediately, the thin polyester doing nothing against the downpour. He jogs toward the ditch, sliding slightly on the muddy embankment. Up close, the vehicle is clearly a luxury sedan, black, sleek, the kind that costs more than he has made in his entire life. The front end is crumpled against a concrete drainage barrier, airbag deployed, glass everywhere. He reaches the driver's side window, peers inside. A woman. Mid-30s, maybe, dark hair plastered to her face, blood running from a cut above her left eyebrow. Her eyes are open, dazed, trying to focus. She is pulling at the door handle, but the frame is bent. The door will not open. Marcus raps on the window. She jerks, startled, then sees him. Her mouth moves. He cannot hear through the glass and the rain, but he reads her lips clearly enough. Help me. He tries the door, jammed solid. He moves to the passenger side, wades through deeper water. That door opens, hinges screaming. He climbs in, glass crunching under his shoes. Can you move? His voice sounds too loud in the enclosed space. She nods, then immediately winces. My leg, it is stuck. Marcus leans over the center console. Her left leg is wedged between the deployed airbag and the crumpled dashboard, not trapped by metal, thank God, just pinned by the deflated fabric in her own twisted position. I am going to push the airbag down. When I do, pull your leg back, okay? She nods again. Her hands are shaking. Shock, probably. Marcus braces himself, pushes down on the airbag with both hands. The fabric compresses. She pulls, grimaces, but her leg comes free. Can you climb over? I think so. She is wearing what was once an expensive suit. Charcoal gray, tailored, now soaked and torn. One shoe is missing. As she maneuvers over the console, he catches her, steadies her. She is lighter than he expected. Or maybe adrenaline makes her feel weightless. If you are enjoying this story so far, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you are watching from. I love hearing from you. Together they exit through the passenger door. The rain hits them like a physical force. Marcus keeps one arm around her waist, guiding her up the embankment. She stumbles, catches herself against him. He can feel her trembling either from cold or shock or both. They reach his Civic. He opens the passenger door, helps her inside, then runs around to the driver's side. Once inside, the rain muted slightly by the thin metal shell, they both sit, gasping. Are you hurt? Marcus asks. Besides your leg? She touches the cut on her forehead, fingers coming away, bloody. I do not think so. Maybe. I do not know. We need to get you to a hospital. No. The word comes out sharp, panicked. No hospitals, please. Marcus frowns. You might have a concussion. You need to be checked. No. She looks at him directly for the first time. Her eyes are striking, even in this state. Dark brown, intense. Please, just somewhere safe, somewhere I can think. There is something in her voice, not just fear, desperation, like a hospital is the last place in the world she can go. Marcus should argue, should insist, should probably call 911. Instead, he hears himself say, I have a place. It is not much. Anywhere, please. He puts the Civic in gear, pulls back onto the highway. The check engine light glows accusingly. He ignores it. They drive in silence for 7 minutes. She does not ask where they are going, does not check her phone, which is lighting up constantly in her lap, does not speak at all, just stares out the window at the rain-streaked city passing by. Marcus's apartment is in a neighborhood the real estate listings politely call transitioning. Cracked sidewalks, buildings that have not seen fresh paint in a decade, cars with expired tags parked on the street. He pulls into the small lot behind his building, parks in his designated spot, number 12, faded white paint barely visible. This is it, he says, almost apologetically. She nods, does not judge, does not comment. He helps her out, up the concrete stairs to the second floor, down the exterior hallway to Unit 214. His key sticks in the lock like always. He jiggles it, applies pressure, feels the mechanism give. Inside, the studio is dark, quiet. Marcus flips the light switch. A single overhead fixture flickers to life, casting yellow light over the space. 300 square feet. Kitchenette along one wall. Bathroom barely big enough for a toilet and shower. The rest is sleeping space, living space, everything space. And in the corner, in the small bed pushed against the wall, Zoe is curled under her favorite blanket, purple with unicorns, a thrift store find that she treats like treasure. Her breathing is soft, steady. The nightlight shaped like a crescent moon casts a gentle glow across her face. The woman stops just inside the door, takes in the scene. Marcus sees it through her eyes. The worn furniture, the dishes drying on the rack, the construction paper artwork taped to the walls, Zoe's drawings of rainbows and flowers and stick figure families, the stack of bills on the counter, some still in envelopes, some torn open, all representing numbers that do not add up. You have a daughter, the woman says quietly. Zoe, she is 8. She is beautiful. Marcus feels something in his chest unclench slightly. Let me get you a towel. Dry clothes. He moves to the small closet, pulls out his only spare towel, thin, frayed at the edges, but clean. Then he grabs a t-shirt and sweatpants from his drawer. The shirt has a faded logo from a 5-kilometer run he did 4 years ago. The pants have a small bleach stain on the left knee. "It is all I have," he says, handing them to her. "It is perfect." She goes into the bathroom. The door clicks shut. Marcus stands in the middle of the tiny apartment, suddenly aware of how he must look. Soaked work jacket, mud on his shoes, exhausted. He checks the time on the microwave clock. 3:17 a.m. His shift started at 11. He has now missed 4 hours. Even if he goes in now, explains, they might not care. They might write him up anyway. But this woman needed help. What was he supposed to do? The bathroom door opens. She emerges wearing his clothes. The shirt hangs loose on her frame. The sweatpants are too long, bunched at her ankles. Her hair is toweled dry, hanging in damp waves around her face. The cut on her forehead has stopped bleeding, but it will bruise. She looks impossibly out of place in his thrift store clothes. And somehow she also looks more real than she did in that ruined suit. "Thank you," she says. Her voice has steadied. "I do not know your name." Marcus Reed." "Marcus." She repeats it like she is committing it to memory. "I am Victoria." "Nice to meet you, Victoria, even if the circumstances are weird." A small smile touches her lips. Weird is an understatement. He gestures to the futon couch that doubles as his bed. "You can sleep here. I will take the floor." "I cannot take your bed." "It is not much of a bed." He grabs the spare blanket from the closet, the one with the hole in the corner that he keeps meaning to sew. "And you have been in a car accident. You need rest more than I do." She looks like she wants to argue, but exhaustion wins. She sinks onto the futon. Marcus spreads the blanket over her. "Marcus," she says as he turns away. "Yeah? Why did you stop? Most people would have kept driving." He thinks about that, about all the times he has needed help and nobody stopped. About Zoe and what he would want someone to do if she was ever in trouble. "Because somebody needed help," he says simply. "That is reason enough." Victoria's eyes glisten. She blinks quickly, turning her face away. Not everyone thinks like that. Maybe they should. He makes himself a small nest on the floor using the couch cushions and his work jacket as a pillow. It is not comfortable, but he has slept in worse conditions. At least it is dry. At least it is warm. "Good night, Marcus," Victoria whispers in the darkness. "Good night." He closes his eyes. He should be thinking about his missed shift, about the consequences waiting for him tomorrow, about the bills he cannot pay and the check engine light he cannot afford to fix. But instead, he thinks about the woman sleeping 3 feet away, about the panic in her voice when he mentioned the hospital, about the phone that would not stop lighting up with calls she would not answer, about the feeling that he just stepped into something much bigger than a simple car accident on a rainy highway. Sleep, when it comes, is restless and brief. Marcus wakes to the smell of coffee. For a moment, he cannot place it. Coffee is a luxury he gave up 6 months ago when the price per pound made him choose between that and Zoe's after-school snack supply. His brain, still foggy with too little sleep, cannot understand why his apartment smells like a cafe. He opens his eyes. Gray morning light filters through the thin curtains. The clock on the microwave reads 6:42. Zoe's alarm will go off in 8 minutes. He sits up, muscles protesting. Sleeping on the floor at 34 hits different than it did at 24. Victoria is in the kitchenette. She has found his ancient coffee maker, the one he kept even after he stopped buying coffee just in case. She is pouring dark liquid into his only 2 mugs, one that says, "World's okayest dad," a Father's Day gift from Zoe, the other plain white with a small chip on the rim. She has changed back into her clothes from last night. The suit, despite being slept in, somehow still looks expensive. She has done something with her hair, pulled it back into a neat twist. The cut on her forehead is visible, purpling into a bruise, but she has cleaned it properly. She turns, sees him watching. "I hope you do not mind. I found the coffee in the back of your cupboard. It might be a little stale." "Where did you learn to use that thing? It has been broken for months." A slight smile. "The trick is you have to hold the filter basket at exactly the right angle, or it drips everywhere. Trial and error." She hands him the world's okayest dad mug. He takes it, the warmth seeping into his palms. The coffee is strong, bitter, perfect. "Thank you," he says. "It is the least I can do." They stand in the small kitchenette, sipping coffee in comfortable silence. Through the thin walls, Marcus can hear his neighbor's television, morning news playing at too high a volume. Traffic sounds from the street below, the building waking up. Zoe's alarm starts beeping, the Frozen theme song, tinny and cheerful. Marcus sets his mug down. "That is my cue. I need to get Zoe ready for school." "Of course." He moves to the bed, sits on the edge. "Good morning?" "Jelly bean." Zoe's eyes flutter open. She sees him, smiles that gap-toothed smile that makes everything worth it. "Morning, Daddy." "Time to get up. School day." She stretches, then her gaze shifts past him, to Victoria, standing in the kitchenette. Zoe sits up quickly, suddenly very awake. "Who is that?" "That is Victoria. She had some car trouble last night. I am helping her out." Zoe looks at Victoria with the unfiltered curiosity only children possess. "Why are you wearing Daddy's shirt?" Victoria laughs, a real laugh that transforms her face. "Because I got very wet in the rain. Your dad was kind enough to lend me dry clothes." "Oh." Zoe processes this. "Did you sleep here?" "On the couch, yes." "Okay." Zoe seems satisfied with this answer. She climbs out of bed, grabs her school clothes from the small dresser. "I am Zoe. I am 8 3/4. I am in 3rd grade. My favorite subject is art." "It is nice to meet you, Zoe. I am Victoria. I am 36. I work in business, and I am terrible at art." Zoe giggles. "Everyone can do art. You just have to practice." That is wise advice. While Zoe changes in the bathroom, Marcus pulls out the breakfast supplies. Generic brand cereal, milk that expires today, 2 bruised apples from the discount bin. Victoria watches him portion everything carefully. 1 bowl of cereal for Zoe, 1 apple. He leaves the second apple on the counter for himself. That is his breakfast and lunch combined. "Marcus," Victoria says quietly, "may I?" She is holding her wallet, black leather, designer, the kind that probably cost what he makes in 2 weeks. "No." His voice comes out harder than he intends. "I did not help you for money." "I know that, but let me buy breakfast for Zoe, please. She is a growing girl." "We are fine." "Are you?" The question hangs in the air. They both know the answer. Zoe emerges from the bathroom dressed in jeans and a pink long-sleeved shirt. She climbs onto the chair at the tiny table, starts eating her cereal. Victoria opens her wallet anyway. She pulls out a $100 bill, sets it on the counter. "Victoria," Marcus starts. "It is not charity," she says firmly. "It is gratitude. You saved my life last night. You gave me shelter. You gave me your bed and your clothes and your coffee. Let me give something back." Marcus stares at the bill. $100. That is groceries for 2 weeks. That is the gas bill. That is breathing room. But it also feels like accepting something he did not earn. "Please," Victoria says. Her voice is softer now. "I would not be here without you. This matters to me." Marcus thinks about Zoe, about the field trip permission slip, sitting in his truck, unsigned because it costs $35 he does not have. about how she smiled when she saw her friends' photos from the zoo and said she did not mind that she could not go, even though he saw the disappointment in her eyes. He picks up the bill, folds it, puts it in his pocket. "Thank you," he says. Victoria nods. After breakfast, Marcus helps Zoe pack her backpack, homework folder, library book, lunchbox with a peanut butter sandwich, string cheese, and those crackers shaped like fish. "Can Victoria drive us to school?" Zoe asks. "Victoria does not have a car right now, Jellybean, and Daddy's car is being difficult this morning." "We will walk," Victoria says. "If that's okay, I could use the fresh air." The three of them leave the apartment together. The morning is cool, washed clean by last night's rain. They walk down the cracked sidewalk, past the bodega with the faded awning, past the laundromat where Mrs. Chen is already doing her first load of the day. Zoe walks between them, holding both their hands. She talks non-stop, telling Victoria about her best friend Emma, about her teacher, Mr. Landry, about the class hamster named Cheeto who escaped twice last month. Victoria listens like every word matters. They reach Fairview Elementary just as the first bell rings. Kids stream toward the entrance, a river of backpacks and bright jackets. "Have a good day, Jellybean." Marcus kneels, hugs Zoe tight. "You too, Daddy." She hugs back, fierce and quick, then turns to Victoria. "Bye, Victoria. I hope your car gets fixed." "Thank you, Zoe. It was wonderful to meet you." Zoe runs toward the entrance, pigtails bouncing, disappearing into the crowd of children. Marcus and Victoria stand at the chain-link fence, watching until she is safely inside. "She is remarkable," Victoria says. "She is my entire world." They start walking back. The neighborhood looks different in daylight, tired but resilient. Graffiti on the overpass, but also murals, bright colors telling stories. Boarded up windows, but also community gardens. Green spaces carved from concrete. "I need to tell you something," Victoria says as they turn onto Marcus's street. "Okay." She stops walking, takes a breath. "My full name is Victoria Hastings." The name means nothing to Marcus. He waits. "I am the CEO of Hastings Global Corporation." Still nothing. He has never heard of it. Victoria reads his expression, lets out a breath that sounds almost like relief. "You really do not know who I am." "Should I?" "Most people would." She starts walking again. Hastings Global is a technology and investment conglomerate. We have holdings in software, pharmaceutical development, renewable energy, commercial real estate across 19 countries. Last quarter's revenue was just over $3 billion. Marcus's brain struggles to process numbers that large. 3 billion. That is not money. That is something else entirely. "The car accident," Victoria continues. "It was not an accident. Someone cut my brake lines." "What?" "I have been receiving threats for 6 weeks. Ever since I refused to support a merger that would have eliminated 2,000 jobs. Someone wants me gone. Dead, maybe. Or at least scared enough to change my mind." She says it so calmly, like discussing the weather. "Victoria, you need to go to the police. I have security teams, private investigators, lawyers. Everyone is looking into it." She turns to face him. "But last night, when you pulled me out of that car, you did not know any of that. You did not know who I was or what I am worth. You helped me because I needed help." "Of course." "That is not of course, Marcus. That is rare. That is—" Her voice catches. "That is the first genuine kindness I have experienced in a very long time." They reach his building. Marcus unlocks the exterior door, holds it for her. "My driver is coming to pick me up in 10 minutes, Victoria says, as they climb the stairs. "I called him this morning, but before I go, I want to ask you something." They stop at his door, 214. He unlocks it but does not open it yet. "Ask," he says. You missed your shift last night because of me. You might get in trouble at work. You might even lose your job. She looks at him directly. Let me help, not with money, with opportunity. I need someone I can trust, someone who does the right thing even when it costs them something. Victoria, I am a janitor. I do not have skills for whatever you have integrity. You have judgment. You have the ability to see people, really see them, not their titles or net worth. That is more valuable than any resume. Marcus's phone buzzes. He pulls it from his pocket. A text from his supervisor. Need to see you when you come in. We have to talk. His stomach drops. That is not good. Just think about it, Victoria says. She pulls a business card from her wallet. Cream-colored heavy stock, simple black text. Victoria Hastings, Chief Executive Officer, a phone number, an email. This is my direct line. If you call, I will answer. She presses the card into his palm. Her hand is warm. A car horn sounds from the street below. Sleek black sedan, nothing like the wrecked vehicle from last night. Tinted windows, a driver in a dark suit standing at attention. That is my ride, Victoria says. They walk back downstairs together. At the exterior door, she turns to him. Thank you, Marcus Reed, for seeing me as a person first. You are welcome, Victoria Hastings, for being worth seeing. She smiles, genuine, warm, the kind of smile that probably does not appear often in boardrooms. Then she is gone. Into the sedan, the door closes. The vehicle pulls away, smooth and silent. Marcus stands on the sidewalk, holding her business card, watching the sedan disappear into morning traffic. His phone buzzes again. Another text. Marcus, seriously, we need to talk today. He looks at the card in his hand, looks at his phone, thinks about Zoe, about the $100 bill in his pocket, about a woman who runs a $10 billion empire but made coffee in his broken coffee maker and listened to his daughter talk about hamsters, about the feeling that his life just changed direction in ways he cannot yet understand. He slips the card into his wallet next to his expired insurance card and the photo of Zoe from last year's school picture day. Then he goes inside, showers quickly, puts on his work uniform and drives his dying Civic to the hospital, preparing himself for whatever conversation is waiting. Not knowing that in 48 hours, Victoria Hastings will return, and when she does, she will not be alone. 48 hours later, Marcus stands in front of Hastings Tower wearing his only suit, a charcoal gray from a thrift store, slightly too large in the shoulders. Zoe holds his hand, dressed in her Sunday best. They do not belong here, and everyone seems to know it. Inside, Victoria's father, Robert, waits in the conference room. His eyes are cold steel when Marcus enters. My daughter is making a mistake, Robert says without preamble. You do not belong in her world. Take $50,000 and walk away. Marcus thinks of Zoe, of every struggle, of every night choosing between heat and food. $50,000 could change everything. But then he thinks of Victoria, alone in that wrecked car, asking for help. Not money, not salvation, just someone who saw her as human. No, Marcus says, your daughter offered me a chance because she believes I can help. If I take your money and disappear, I prove you right, that I am just looking for a handout. I am not that person. Robert's jaw tightens. He leaves without another word. Victoria enters moments later. What did my father say? He is protecting you. I cannot fault him for that. Over the following week, Marcus learns to navigate a world built on power he does not understand. But he does what Victoria asked. He sees people, the janitors, the cafeteria workers, the security guards everyone ignores. He discovers the facilities manager planning to outsource 200 jobs to cut costs by 40%. Jobs with benefits replaced by minimum wage contracts. When Marcus brings this to Victoria, she does not hesitate. "Stop it," she says. "Find another way to improve margins. Your board will not like that. Then they can adjust." She meets his eyes. "You were right. These are not numbers on a spreadsheet. They are people. That is what we protect." But the threats continue. Another note. Another near miss. Victoria's security team works around the clock, but whoever wants her gone is always one step ahead. Then Marcus notices something. The facilities manager pushing the outsourcing plan, Derek Chen, is Robert's nephew, and Derek stands to gain a substantial consulting fee if the outsourcing happens. The same Derek who had access to Victoria's schedule, her car, her security codes. If you are hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Marcus brings the evidence to Victoria late one night in her office. She stares at the documents, face pale. "My own family. Not your father," Marcus says quickly. "Derek was acting alone. Robert knew nothing, but Derek needed you out of the way to push the merger through. More profit for him, more power." Victoria's hands tremble. "All those people would have lost everything because my cousin wanted money he did not earn." The next morning, Derek is arrested. The merger is stopped, but the damage cuts deep. Victoria sits in her office, staring out at the city, looking more alone than Marcus has ever seen her. "I built walls so high," she whispers. "I thought they would keep me safe, but they just kept me isolated. My own family betrayed me for profit. How do I trust anyone again?" Marcus sits beside her. "The same way I did after my wife died. One person at a time, one choice at a time. You find people who see you, not what you are worth, and you let them in." She looks at him. Really looks. "Like you did? Like I am still doing." He takes her hand. "You changed my life, Victoria. Not with money, with belief. You saw something in me I had stopped seeing in myself. Let me return the favor. Let someone see you, all of you, the CEO and the woman who fixed my broken coffee maker." Tears fall. Victoria does not wipe them away. "I am terrified." "Me too, but we are terrified together." 3 months later, the hospital Marcus used to clean is renovated. New equipment, better wages, expanded benefits. Every worker Victoria promised to protect is thriving. Marcus still walks Zoe to school every morning, but now Victoria walks with them. She listens to stories about hamsters and art projects and best friends. She packs lunches. She helps with homework. She shows up. At the hospital dedication ceremony, Marcus stands at the podium. Zoe is beside him, holding Victoria's hand like it is the most natural thing in the world. "This building represents something simple," Marcus says, "that everyone deserves dignity, everyone deserves to be seen, not for what they can produce or how much they earn, but for who they are." He looks at Victoria. "Someone once told me that kindness is the rarest currency. I did not understand then, but I do now. Kindness is not just helping someone once. It is showing up every single day, choosing to see people when the world tells you to look away." Victoria steps forward. Her voice is steady, strong. "Marcus saved my life twice, once from a burning car, once from a life where success meant being alone at the top. He taught me that true wealth is not what you have. It is who you become when someone needs you." After the ceremony, the three of them sit on the hospital lawn. Zoe runs through the grass, chasing butterflies. Victoria leans her head on Marcus's shoulder. "Thank you," she whispers. "For what?" "For stopping that night. For seeing me. For not letting me hide anymore. You did the same for me." She lifts her head, looks at him. "What happens now?" Marcus thinks about his small apartment, about Victoria's penthouse, about the vast distance between their worlds that somehow stopped mattering. Now we keep showing up, he says, for each other, for Zoe, for everyone who needs someone to see them. Victoria smiles. I can do that. Me too. Zoe runs back, breathless and laughing. Can we get ice cream? Absolutely, Marcus and Victoria say together. They walk toward Marcus's old Civic, still running despite the check engine light, because some things are worth keeping even when they are broken. Victoria slides into the passenger seat like she belongs there. Zoe climbs in back, already debating flavors. Marcus starts the engine, looks at his family, chosen, unexpected, perfect in its imperfection. Sometimes kindness saves one life, sometimes it saves two, sometimes it changes everything. He pulls out of the parking lot, Victoria's hand in his, Zoe singing off-key in the back seat, driving toward a future built not on wealth or status, but on something far more valuable, the simple choice to see each other, to show up, to stay. That night, after Zoe falls asleep, clutching her stuffed bear, Victoria stands at the window of Marcus's apartment. The view is not of skyscrapers or city lights, just the neighborhood, ordinary, real. I need to tell you something, she says. Marcus stands beside her. Okay. The board offered me a promotion, chairman, more money, more power, everything I thought I wanted 2 years ago. His heart sinks. And? She turns to him. I said no. Victoria, I am staying as CEO, but I am restructuring, delegating, making space for what matters. She takes his hands. I spent years building an empire. Now I want to build a life. With you, with Zoe, with people who see me as more than a title. Marcus pulls her close. You are sure? More sure than I have ever been about anything. They stand there in the small apartment. Two people from impossible different worlds who found each other in a storm, who chose each other every day after. Outside, the neighborhood sleeps. Inside, a new family breathes its first full breath. Marcus thinks about that rainy night, about the choice to stop, to help, to see someone who needed seeing, about how one act of kindness can change everything, not because it brings wealth or success or recognition, but because it reminds us that we are all human, all struggling, all deserving of someone who will stop in the storm and say, I see you, let me help. That is the real currency. That is what saves us. Not once, but every single day we choose it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you will really enjoy them. And do not forget to subscribe if you have not already. See you in the next story.